to your June 2023 prediction. So this is my first video filming in this apartment, so we're going to be figuring it out. We already have a cat cameo. So anyway, we have the Page of Coins, we have the Queen of Wands, the Six of Swords, the Knight of Coins, and the Six of Pentacles to start off your reading here. This is really a month where you are pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, Page of Coins, Page of Pentacles, going to the Knight of Pentacles, and the Six of Swords, like combining all of that energy, you are saving yourself. So if finances have been a struggle for you, if anything in relation to your material world has been a struggle, so you don't like where you're living, maybe like your living situation isn't the best, or your workplace environment isn't the best, or even having issues with your roommates or issues with your car, like anything in relation to your material circumstances, your day-to-day routine, whatever has been stressing you out, it's like, I'm overcoming that. I'm getting myself out of that situation. I'm improving my circumstances to the point to where I no longer feel drained and I have enough of myself to give back to others. Gracie is eating right now. You guys might hear that in the background. I'm sorry. But anyway, so this is really increasing your confidence, okay? You're gonna be feeling so much better about your situation because you have overcome that struggle. And it's not to say that everything is perfect necessarily, but it's a major improvement. So by the end of June, you're gonna take a look around and say, wow, I did that. And I did it by myself. Typically with the Six of Swords, there's someone else in the boat. And you typically see like two huddled figures and someone else driving the boat, and they're like leading them away from choppy waters. But with the cute Ghost Tarot, the tarot deck that I chose for you all, it's not like that. This ghost is on its own, and having it paired to the Queen of Wands, I mean, she is arguably the most confident queen, right? So regardless of your gender, this is just divine feminine energy here, but you're going to be feeling emotionally so much more self-assured. You're going to feel so much more confident, as we stated before, and you're going to feel like, I feel like there is a sense of comfort and safety coming from the fact that you know you did this on your own. And you know that if another problem arises in your future, something else throws a wrench into your day-to-day life and makes your life difficult, you will be able to handle that. So there may even be, for some of you, like a task that you have been procrastinating on, something you've been putting off for a long time. Maybe for some of you due to social anxiety. And I just see you getting better about doing those kinds of things. Now, that's a more specific message. It's not going to resonate for everyone, but if you are in a situation where, you know, you just tend to put off mailing that package, or you tend to put off driving to the store to pick up X, Y, and Z, or returning this item, like, you know, like little day-to-day errands. Maybe for some of you, you put that off because of social anxiety or something like that. Maybe some other sort of mental health struggle you might have. You know, I won't name a bunch of stuff, but, you know, if you are having depression or anxiety or something like that, I could see that hindering you from getting like your day-to-day tasks done. And so that could be something just overall you make an improvement on, so your habits get better. And it could be because your mental health is improving, or you are becoming more resilient, or just better at coping with it. I know there are little things that I used to have a lot of anxiety about, and it was almost just like I had to do like exposure therapy. I just had to force myself to do it enough times to where it no longer bothered me, but everyone is different. But for some of you, I could see it being a message like that. Like maybe there's nothing major going on that's disrupting your day-to-day life. There's no major like financial struggle or something like that. but it's those little things that add up that create sort of like this chronic stress. So for some of you, that's what's improving. And so you're feeling more confident and more confident in your ability to sort of handle and manage your own affairs. And I think definitely as well, like with the Queen of Wands and the Six of Pentacles being here, for some of you, like you're becoming an inspiration to other people. So there may be just other people in your circle who are just looking at you and being like, wow, you know, like group one is really doing the damn thing. Like they are really, you know, again, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Like that phrase like just struck me as soon as I laid out your tarot. So there it is. All right, let's get into the rest of your oracle cards. So I did pre-pull. We have Believe in the Impossible, Blue Moon. And we have a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. So for some of you, there could be an event. Although I do feel like this is really a month where you are sort of putting the wheels in motion yourself. I don't feel like this is a month where you are like a bystander. Like I feel like this is a month where you are being a very active participant in the way that your life is unfolding. Even though we have that divine feminine energy, the Queen of Wands is someone who takes action. There's a lot of will, a lot of passion behind what she does. She's very driven. And she's a force to be reckoned with. And so I feel like that's sort of the energy that you're bringing into June, where, you know, you're not just letting life happen to you. You're not allowing yourself to be a victim of circumstance. You know, you are a survivor at this point. That's what I'm hearing. And that word's gonna mean different things to different people, right? You've all had different experiences. But what ties you together, group one, is just, it's just really like your heart. And you're approaching June like, I'm gonna make stuff happen for myself. And so there's something that you're doing that's putting all of this into motion, because what they're showing me, you know how there are, okay, like if you were to take apart a clock, there are like these different interlocking gears. They're showing me someone just coming up and pushing one of those gears, and then everything else being affected and moving in harmony. And so that's what it is. It's like this domino effect. Like you do one thing and it has this sort of ripple effect of positivity in your life, to the point to where that one small step, that one small action kind of starts, it's like the spark that creates the entire fire. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. So, and you know, Aries is cardinal fire. So, and it's the first sign of the zodiac. So again, like you taking that first step, that first action is creating this, what you're going to think is impossible, but like again, this ripple effect of positivity in your life. So things are going to get a lot better. Again, not to say they'll be perfect, but they're getting a lot better. And I think Spirit is also encouraging you to have a sense of optimism. And when the good stuff starts to come in, or you start to see that positive progress, to really look at that as there's more to come, and to be grateful for it, rather than to sit there and feel like, okay, some good stuff has happened, but when is the rug going to be pulled out from under me? Like Spirit doesn't want you on edge. And, you know, there's no judgment with that. I've been noticing that a lot myself. Like, for those of you who like listened to my life update or read like my most recent community post, I made a lot of changes recently in my life. And even though so far it's been positive, there's a part of me that's still on edge, that is still tense, that is waiting for the other shoe to drop, that is nervous. You know, I'm just having this anxiety. And I mean, we do that. Like we almost like prime ourselves to expect the worst, because hope can be a scary thing. It's like Lana Del Rey's song, hope is a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have, but I have it. There you go. Because it's hard to feel disappointed, right? Sorry if you guys hear that noise outside. That's gonna happen a lot now that I'm living in this apartment. The actual building is very quiet, but you do hear noises from the street, so I apologize for that. Okay, we've already touched on this a little bit, but these cards here are going to talk about your energy coming into June and throughout the rest of the month, okay? These cards do say she, just ignore the gender, it's fine. We have she who is present, now, awareness and acceptance. And we have she who surrenders, chains, bondage, and release. Okay, this kind of, like, if you combine these two cards, it has the energy of someone who is manifesting, right? Like you're surrendering, letting go, going with the flow. But then on the other side of that, you're being fully present in this moment, right? And that's that active participation that we were talking about. So I do like that there's this beautiful balance. And I think for a lot of you, coming into June, it's sort of this energy of surrender. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna let go. I'm gonna choose to be hopeful and just expect the best and just, you know, try not to have any sort of weight. I'm hearing the weight of anxiety. That's what I'm hearing. And I think as the month progresses, you are gonna feel, as a result of that surrender, more present. And because you are not doing things as a form of escapism, you're not doing things to distract yourself, you're not daydreaming a lot, you're like really present in what you're doing. That is sort of creating that new habit in your day-to-day life where you are taking more action, where you are being more decisive, where you are playing a more active role in your own life. And that's creating, again, that ripple effect of positivity because you are making moves, you yourself. And so it's like, I'm not just, it's sort of like, you know what you're doing? Okay, what you're doing here, and it's, I think, the best attitude you can possibly have. You are saying, these are the things that are in my internal locus of control. This is what I have control over. And so I'm going to handle those affairs. These other things are in the external locus of control. I do not have control over those things. Those things I will surrender to the divine, to fate, to God, to the universe, whatever terminology resonates with you. Whatever God you pray to, whatever your deal is, you are surrendering that because it doesn't benefit you to sit here and to have anxiety or to feel nervous about those things or to give energy to those things because you're just punishing yourself, you're just suffering more. And it's just, again, like a weight on your shoulders that's really unnecessary. Because regardless of whether you sit around worrying about it, the outcome isn't within your control over certain things, right? And so I think, again, like you're not falling for that illusion of control when it comes to things that are ultimately outside of your control, right? Like we only have so much control over our own lives, and even that is very tenuous, right? And so you're using your free will when you need to, but you're also using your faith when you need to. So there again, there's a beautiful balance here throughout the month of June. And I like how we're getting a balance even in your messages, because with your tarot, we were really focused on how your material world or your circumstances in your day-to-day life were improving. And now we're talking about your spiritual growth. Gracie May, stop. No, we already had a discussion about that. She is clawing the new couch, which is fun. Okay, so anyway, these cards here are going to discuss the two major themes in your life in June. We have joy. It doesn't get much better than joy, does it? As I do will, so mote it be. Let joy and light radiate from me. She's so freaking cute, though. I'm gonna post some pictures of her in the new apartment. In her, she's gotten 2 new cat trees. And in one of them, she looks like a Swiss cake roll. So I'll make sure to put a timestamp in the description box so you can go look at pictures of her. But anyway, and then we have best possible decision. Artemis, goddess of the bow, help me see what must be known. So I actually want to talk about this card here first, this best possible decision. We were talking about in your tarot, you taking an active role in your life, you pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. So especially given now that we're seeing this, and we had the Six of Swords, and we had that fiery climax approaches, right? We were talking about you taking that first step. If there's anything that is currently weighing on your mind, or if you recall this reading, whenever this decision comes up in the month of June, if you can remember this reading, I'm assuming you probably can, 30 days isn't that long, you are going to make the right decision, the best possible decision for yourself. And no decision is ever 100% perfect, right? Like we always have to make some kind of compromise. No matter what path we take in life, there are always going to be some kind of challenge associated with that. But when it's the right path for you, it's a much easier pill to swallow when those challenges actually come up, because you want to fight for that path, right? Because it's right for you. So like, you know, if you're in a romantic partnership, every relationship has its problems, but when it's the right person for you, you're willing to put in that effort and you're willing to fight for the relationship, and that should be a mutual thing, right? Because life will always throw us curveballs. And so in the month of June, if a decision is made, or you are faced with like a crossroads moment, like which way do I go? Or you feel like my current situation is not sustainable, I have to make a decision. Man, do I relate to this. I have to make a decision. Just know, Spirit is saying you're gonna make the right one. And hopefully that makes that process easier. Hopefully it makes it less stressful. Hopefully you can feel more like you trust yourself. And I think, given the fact that we have the Queen of Wands, by the end of the month, you're gonna feel confident about not only yourself, but also, again, like your decisions. And with this Joy card, you're following your happiness here. And so I think, you know, if there's anything in your life that is detracting from that happiness, that is detracting from your joy here, your ability to feel connected to your own inner light, you know, when we are in unbalanced connections, or we are in situations that are just taking and taking from us and not giving very much back. So like you're in a dead-end job and you're not being fairly compensated, but you're being overworked to the point of burnout. You see how this can apply in multiple ways, right? But when you're in that kind of situation, you can feel so drained, so disconnected from yourself. It can become like this out-of-body experience where you just become so apathetic, and it's hard to see the way out. But like I always say, like we are the light at the end of our own tunnel. Like we are our own saving grace. And I feel like that's your energy throughout the month of June. And I love that for you. I think that's so beautiful. I don't see how any other group is gonna top that message, because to me, that's such a beautiful, comforting thing for Spirit to say, to come through, that you're going to be your own saving grace, and that we have built you up to that point, and not only are you having more faith than us, but we want you to know, your guides, we want you to know that we have faith in you. And so even between you and Spirit, there's this beautiful reciprocity happening. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. I also haven't filmed in like a week, so if I'm a little bit spacey, I apologize. It's been a whirlwind trying to get settled after my move and everything, but okay. So let's go ahead. These are going to be some self-care messages for you, and then we're going to end your reading with this cat guardian message, okay? So I kind of like I turned them over the wrong way. I'm sorry. We have action here. Baby steps are still steps, and they're better than standing still. So we were talking about that a lot, of like you taking that first step, and that first step is always the hardest. And even when it's so small, it can feel so scary because you're at the beginning and you can't see the rest of the way, right? But you don't have to see the whole staircase to climb that. You only need to see one step at a time. And I actually had to remind myself of that earlier today. Like, I don't have to know how this is all going to play out, but I've taken that initial step, and all I have to do from this point forward is to keep moving. And if things don't work out, or if something isn't working, I make adjustments. But I have to trust that I'm being divinely guided and I am on the right path. And it, you know, like what I've done so far is really gutsy and something to be proud of. And I think that's why, if you guys read Harry Potter, with like Gryffindor, sometimes like some of the things that they would do within Gryffindor house, like Harry and his friends, Hermione and Ron and the rest of them, like especially within that house, like they're known for bravery, right? They're known for having courage. But sometimes that looks a lot like stupidity, right? Like sometimes, like when I was reading that as a kid, I was like, man, they have like no sense of self-preservation. Or like I was a really big rule follower as a kid, so I did not relate at all to Harry, but I still love the books. But you know, it's kind of like that. Like other people might look at you and say like, isn't that impulsive? And Aries is known for being impulsive, and you have that Aries energy come through, right, in your Moonology card. And so it's like, yeah, it might look foolish, it might look risky, it might look impulsive, it might look like I'm out here just taking a gamble with this decision, with the steps that I'm taking. But I trust myself because I have to. And to stay where I'm at, we know that's not following my joy with the Six of Swords. Like, you got to get away. And thankfully, you are doing that. You are making those improvements. You will make the right decision here. But I think for the month of June, don't worry about... The word optics is coming up because I've been watching Vanderpump Rules. And I'm actually probably going to make a community post about this because... oh my gosh, like I just have to know if any of you watch this show and what your thoughts are. But anyway, I think for the month of June, don't worry about how it looks to other people. Don't worry about how it looks, because you just have to feel right with this. And honestly, like Spirit is co-signing all of this. Spirit is like, yes, do the thing that you want to do. Do the thing that feels right in your heart. Go with your gut in the month of June. It's the Queen of Wands. Go with your gut, okay? As it is going to lead you to that light, right? Like, where is this staircase leading you back to? Your own light. Feeling like your life belongs to you again and not like someone else is writing the story. So, like, this is your month to be the protagonist. This is your month to be the main character. This is your month to rewrite your story, you know? And so, again, like it may not end up perfect by the end of the month, but you're going to be in a much better position, much better. So there are big improvements, right? Or you can at least see how the steps you're taking in the month of June are going to prepare you for a much greater reward, you know, a couple months down the line. Oh, move. Yeah, more action here. A long walk is good for the soul. Get outside and allow Mother Nature to lift your spirits. So again, taking action, also practically, like if you can't get out in nature, any access to green space you have, or maybe you live by the water. If not, like if you can just have a house plant or something like that to make you feel more connected to nature, you can watch a YouTube video before you go to bed. I put on bird videos for Gracie, and I find myself just like watching them with her for a little bit. You know, they can be really relaxing. Or you can listen to ocean waves as you sleep. So there's a lot of ways you can get around it if you don't have access to, you know, nature or green space. Okay, I guess we'll put it like this. And then we have friend. Be as good a friend to yourself as you are to others. You know, and with that Six of Pentacles here, like obviously you're a very generous person, and we got the Queen of Wands, and I always associate fire sign energy with generosity. I do. I think fire signs, and maybe that's my bias as a Leo, but I think we're very generous. Like I always think that, and not just generous with like our time or our efforts, but or even like I feel like fire signs really like to buy people gifts. I feel like we like to do that. But I always feel like we're generous with our compliments. Like, you know, when you feel good about yourself, you're a lot more willing to compliment other people and to share that love versus being someone who's really insecure. And we talked a lot about you being super confident. And so, you know, in the month of June or by the end of the month. And so, you know, I think give some of that love back to yourself, like that beautiful warmth that you have. Give some of that love back to yourself, like you deserve that. And I think especially if you've been having this rocky time, or, you know, there's something in your life that's been causing you to feel disconnected from your own light, it's time to give back to yourself, you know, and that's not selfish. Aries people get a bad rep for being selfish, and we did get Aries energy. Not to say that you're Aries, but I do feel like in the month of June, you're being called to like lean into that energy of Aries. And so, you know, Aries is the baby of the zodiac. It's okay, like do some things for yourself, attend to your own needs, right? Like a baby, it doesn't have the capacity to be concerned with what anyone else needs or wants. It's hungry, right? It needs to be changed. It wants to go to sleep. So be attuned to your own needs. Take care of yourself the way that you would take care of your best friend, and be kind to yourself throughout this process, because you're making some big moves, and that's hard and that's stressful. And even if you have to be in this energy of like, I'm gonna fake it till I make it, that's okay too. Like, again, just speaking from personal experience and what I've been going through the past couple weeks, I've been terrified, but I've just kept going. Like, just kept going, you know, moved to another state, ended a long-term relationship, starting a new job next week, uprooted my whole life. But we have to take those chances sometimes. Sometimes we have to take those risks. Sometimes we have to be a bit gutsy. We have to just go for it, because to do anything else, to stay where we're comfortable, is committing to our own unhappiness. Like if we know something hasn't been working out, whatever has been draining, you know, that energy we were talking about, that light, that inner light, you gotta disconnect yourself from it. Sometimes you have to cut your losses. And if other people don't understand it, that's okay. It's not their life. This is your life. And I feel like there's a real energy here of you taking ownership of that. Like, this is my life. And maybe for some of you too, there's been some hesitancy because maybe you've been looking for a sign or looking for confirmation from spirit, like what should I do? What should I do? How, some of you may not even know like how to go about improving your life. But I feel like in the month of June, that sort of like need for confirmation from spirit is kind of melting away, because you're more aligned. I feel like you're more aligned with your higher self, and you're more connected to your own intuition. And I feel like that idea of you being separate from spirit is kind of just, I don't know, it's just falling away. I feel like that misconception of you and spirit being these two separate entities is falling away, and you're kind of coming to this realization like, Spirit is always with me. I'm never walking alone. Spirit is always walking with me. I am like connected to that ultimate source energy. Like again, like however you want to frame that, or however you want to word that, because I know everyone has like different terminology and stuff, but, or even just, you know, maybe different belief systems here, but you're not alone. Like, they're walking with you. You're not alone. And they're not separate from you. They're within your heart and you're within theirs. Like, it's all one, right? We're all connected here. So if you're following your own joy, if you're following your own heart, your intuition, you're going with your gut, how could you be wrong? You know, and the thing that I think is a trap for most of us is when we mistake that anxiety that we were talking about in the beginning for our intuition. We mistake our fear for our intuition. And so we think like, oh, my intuition is trying to tell me like, don't do this. That's your fear talking, that's your ego talking, that's your anxiety talking. And we know those things lie to protect us. But by trying to keep us safe, sometimes that commits us to misery, right? Okay. Group 1, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot to read these 2 cards for you. They're so small, they got stuck in this little organizer that I have. So it says, don't grow up, it's a trap. That feeling when you realize it's the first time you've walked around a sprinkler, so you go back and leap through it. And then we have that feeling when you discover a soul perfectly the same and perfectly different in every way. Okay, so for some of you, in the month of June, there could be a soul family member coming through, and I feel like that person is going to help you have a lot more fun in your life. And as busy as you may be in some aspects, trying to tidy up and clean up your life, you are going to feel really supported by this person, and they're going to bring in that balance where you can feel playful and fun and you can laugh and joke around. For others of you, this could also be talking about or echoing that sentiment of you being a good friend to yourself, you being your own best friend, and you kind of doing that inner child healing and really connecting back to your own light, to yourself, and feeling, I think, just so grateful to be who you are. And I think that comes from a feeling of accepting your past and accepting the experiences that have happened to you, and loving yourself for how you dealt with it, how you survived it, how you coped with it, and saying thank you to every past version of yourself. Like, thank you to my 5-year-old self, thank you to my 10-year-old self, thank you to my teenage self, thank you to myself in my early 20s, you know, like every previous version of yourself. So yeah, sorry. So you're gonna see a jump cut. I'll put this in there somewhere, probably at the end. I apologize. I hope that made sense. Let's look at your cat guardian card. So this is gonna be your last message. We have Tidy Up Tilly. I mean, you are definitely cleaning up your life in June. Like, whatever isn't working, it's either leaving your life because you have decided to cut ties with it, or you are taking steps, you're at least planning on how you can get out of something, how you can overcome it. And by you taking that initial first step in June, that's where that ripple effect of positivity is coming from. Because, and I think it may even surprise you how that comes to be, because let's say it's your job that's like really bad. Let's just say that, for example, is the issue for you. Let's say you end up taking that initial step and you say, you know what, I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks notice, or I'm gonna update my resume, or I'm gonna start applying for jobs. Or I'm gonna have a talk with my supervisor. We're gonna have a come to Jesus moment. Like, I cannot keep dealing with this. And you eventually, from taking that first step, get yourself a new job. But at that new job, you meet your next good close friend. And through that close friend, you end up meeting your future romantic partner. And so now it's like, because I improved my professional life, now my love life has improved, but also my social life, because I have this great friend. So you see, it's just like one thing after another sometimes. And miracles happen all the time. Good stuff happens all the time. We just have to remind ourselves of that. Like, and I always say, and this is just my personal advice, this isn't coming from spirit, and this is something I've had to learn, as quickly as things can get bad, they can just as quickly turn around. And you have to remember that. It really, like, the pendulum goes both ways. And so which side of the fence do you want to focus on? Because you'll drive yourself crazy, again, like waiting for that rug to be pulled out from under you. You'll drive yourself crazy. And a lot of times too, like, it's our own mind, it's our own attitude, it's our own perspective about things that can make it 10 times worse. Versus when we just roll with the punches and say, you know what? I am capable of handling this. I can figure this out. And I'm going to give one more personal example, and then I'm going to let you go, okay? And I hope you guys don't mind me making so many references to my life in this reading. I try not to do that because I know it bothers a lot of people, but I just really resonate with your energy. I don't know. So I've been trying to move into this apartment, right? And had some issues with some of the furniture that I ordered, and one of them was the bed. And I had ordered a 4-poster bed, so it needed to be stable and secure. It's a 4-poster bed. And I've had this, I don't know why I ordered a 4-poster bed, because I've had a recurring nightmare image for years now, like years now, of a 4-poster bed, even though I've never previously owned one, of the top part falling on my head and smashing my face in. It's really horrible, this image that I have, but it's like a cartoon image. I don't know why, it's like the weirdest thing, but it's like this intrusive thought that I've had for years, even though I've never owned a 4-poster bed. But anyway, I decided to overcome that fear, that irrational fear, and order a 4-poster bed. And so we were trying to put it together, and one of the screws got bent, and then we had to go and get a replacement for it. But the first thing that the lady said to us, without even knowing like what the situation was, the sales associate, she was like, oh, this type of screw or bolt or whatever, you can tell I don't know a lot about building things. She said, it's not made for furniture. And I'm like, well, isn't that funny? Because this is what came with the, with the bed that the furniture company sent. And so I decided to just nix the entire thing after speaking with her, and did a return, ordered a completely different bed that's not a 4-poster. And I was telling my friend on the drive home, I was like, you know what? As much of an inconvenience as this feels right now, this was really God's protection. Because if we had been able to put together that bed easy peasy, and we hadn't accidentally, well, she had dropped like one of the beams as she was trying to put it in, the screw, and so that's why it got bent. And so if that accident hadn't happened, we would have put together the bed, and God only knows how long it would have been before it collapsed, and my intrusive thought nightmare might have come true. And so I was like, really, like, this is God's protection. And even though it feels like in this moment an inconvenience, I think ultimately I'm better for it. And so that's such a, maybe like a stupid small example, but I think we have to look at these little moments in our lives and apply that to the big stuff. Because it can feel that way, right? When things start to go wrong, or what we perceive as wrong, because we do have such a limited perspective, it's so easy to get pessimistic. It's so easy to get angry and to feel like luck is against us, to feel like fate is against us, to feel like the universe is against us, when it's the exact opposite. Like, you really, I feel like we all benefit if we keep it in our minds that ultimately what is happening for our highest good, and there has to be some kind of reason behind it, because otherwise, like, what is the alternative? Like, I don't know how we get through life otherwise without having that sense of faith, because really horrible, terrible things happen, right? Really traumatic, horrible things happen, and I think otherwise it's so easy to fall into this feeling of hopelessness. And so I feel like in the month of June, it's really your perspective and your willingness to step up to the plate on the things that you can control, and other things, you're like, you know what, it's outside of my control, and rolling with those punches. So if a moment in June happens where you have a 4-poster bed moment, and that, you know, and that bed just doesn't work out, again, like using this as a metaphor, just return it back to sender, and do what you have to do to improve your situation, and let the rest of it just be what it is. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm sorry if I was all over the place. I'm probably going to have to use my video editor to make my voice louder. Hopefully that doesn't distort the audio too much, but obviously I can't speak really loudly without being rude to my neighbors. So yes, thank you all for your patience, and hopefully the noises from the street haven't been too bad either. But yeah, look in the timestamps again for this pics of Gracie, and I'm gonna end your reading here, and thank you so much for letting me read for you today, and I'm wishing you the very, very best. Hi group 2, welcome to your reading. So this is the first reading that I'm filming in my new apartment. I don't know how the sound is going to be. I don't know how much you're going to hear in terms of like noises from the street. So please just be patient. I also can't talk super loudly, so I'm going to have to use my video editor to make my voice louder, so I'm not being rude to my neighbors. So just be patient, work with me here. But let's get into your June 2023 prediction. So we have the Queen of Pentacles, we have the World, we have the Queen of Wands, we have the Sun, we have the Emperor, we have the Ace of Cups, the Eight of Wands, and the Six of Cups. So I did pull extra cards for you all compared to group 1, just felt called to. And we do have, I think it's very interesting, 2 court cards here, but also your major arcana, the Emperor. You have other major arcana here as well, but the Emperor is also like a person, right? It's a figure. So I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people who are affecting you in the month of June, or this could be alluding to this idea that you are going to have to tap into a lot of different sides to yourself in order to kind of in order to manage all of the things that are happening in June. So you may need to tap into your Queen of Pentacles energy, where you're really practical and you are being really pragmatic and handling things and are being organized. Or you may need to tap into your Queen of Wands, where you feel confident and where you're like a social butterfly and you're trusting your intuition and you're taking action and you're being creative. You know, so you see what I'm saying? Now for others of you, we do have the Ace of Cups next to the Emperor. So for some of you, if you're interested in a divine masculine person, especially with the Six of Cups, because that could talk about soul family, soulmate connection, a mutually giving, kind of sweet, kind of romantic relationship. Could also talk about a close friendship, and it can talk about someone who makes you feel like a kid again. And the Emperor does have like Aries, playful kind of energy, even though it's quite serious in some aspects. But next to the Ace of Cups and with the Six of Cups, it definitely softens it, especially with the Sun as well, that Leo, positive, warm, generous energy. For some of you, could be a romantic partner coming in the month of June. I didn't pull any love cards for group 1 because I wasn't getting any love messages. For you all, we will, I have this deck next to me in case I needed it. For you all, I think we'll pull some cards from this deck at the end of your reading, because for some of you, I mean, there could be a new love interest coming in with that Ace of Cups. And with the Eight of Wands next to it, could be a really unexpected kind of chance meeting, serendipitous meeting. I probably mentioned this before, but I knew a girl who met her fiance at Bojangles. So love can happen anywhere at any time. Cupid can strike, right? For others of you though, again, this could be talking about you having a lot of self-love and you really tapping into these different sides of yourself to handle whatever these Eight of Wands are. Now the Eight of Wands talks about really fast, positive changes coming in, but fast-moving changes, even when they're positive, can be disruptive, right? So you would need to maybe use different aspects of your personality to handle all of it, to cope with all of it. With the World card and this Ace of Cups, there could be something in your life that is kind of coming to a close as there's a new chapter happening almost like simultaneously. So it's like, because I'm being drawn here, like, see how this is? It's like we're gonna tie this together with a bow, but just as one ending happens, a new start also is like simultaneously happening here. Like everything, it's like a loop, right? And so, you know, it's like they always say, as one door closes, another door opens. But for you all, we have 8 doors opening with the Eight of Wands. So it's a lot of stuff going on. And you know what? I think, hold on one second. I love having my deck so close to me in this apartment. It's so nice. I have a cabinet just dedicated to my decks. But what we're gonna do is I'm sorry, I'm getting more cards for you guys, but I want to get a little bit more specific with this Eight of Wands. So for some of you, like if you're already in a romantic partnership, this could be like a revitalization of the romance in your connection. Your partner could start paying more attention to you. You guys spend more quality time together. Make date night a priority. For others of you who are single, it could be a new love interest coming in. But what are the other changes? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, aside from love with the Ace of Cups, again, whether it's self-love or romantic love, but like, what else is coming in? I mean, it's definitely positive with the Sun being here and the World card. So what is coming in for you? Oh my gosh. We were just talking about that, right? Like as one door closes, another door opens, something is ending in your life, and then you get the Death card. Like shut the front door, except maybe this is a back door closing. I don't know what I'm saying it right now. So after this ending with the Death card, what is coming in? I love when Spirit just gives us a confirmation, even when we didn't ask for it. What is coming in? What is coming in? Okay. The King of Cups. Okay. So definitely, if you are resonating with that love message, even for some of you, if it's just a friend, like you just want a good friend in your corner. You just want someone who's going to be able to hold space for you, able to genuinely support you, someone who is emotionally intelligent enough to know how to support you without you having to talk them through it. And I love this King of Cups. Like I always say that, but there's something about this King of Cups that just looks so sweet to me. And we were talking about it being a really sweet connection with the Six of Cups. But what else, Spirit? What else? Oh my gosh, the Knight of Cups. Okay, it's definitely a lot to do with love and emotion, for sure. But what else? Ah, we have the Two of Swords. Definitely a release here of any self-doubt that you were having. An ability here to make to take more decisive action, to feel more committed to your choices and less second guessing yourself. That's coming through. So there is more self-love in that sense of like just trusting yourself more. Wheel of Fortune. Definitely unexpected changes. Now I'm seeing the Three of Swords. Okay, for some of you, wow. Okay, it's a more specific message, but for some of you, it's like I end one relationship and then it's not much longer. Like within the month of June, I meet someone else. And I at least have a crush, right? Even if you don't jump into a romantic partnership with them right away, like you already have another love interest for some of you. Because remember when I said it could be like this serendipitous chance meeting that could happen. Like I'm not looking for love, but there it is. You have more choices than you ever thought before. Like I'm hearing like the world is your oyster. That's the thing. I think in the month of June, because of whatever that ending is with the Death card, whatever is coming to a close in your life, it's going to be different for all of you. And for some of you, it's just a certain attitude that you were having that was holding you back, and you release that self-limiting belief. For others of you, it could be something more tangible, like, you know, a work environment or a certain relationship. But the world is your oyster. Like, I think what they're saying here is that there's a lot of ways this could play out. There's a lot of positive changes that could happen during the month of June, but you get to choose which cup comes in first. That's interesting. Oh, I like this. Like, literally spin the Wheel of Fortune here. Which cup do you want the wheel to land on? Which cup do you want first? What desire is closest to your heart? Because we have a lot of stuff we want to give you. Like, we have this banquet here. Which cup do you want first? Because you get to choose. Isn't that interesting? Usually with the Wheel of Fortune, we think about fate, divine intervention, something outside of our control. But the way this is laid out, it's like, which way do you want to go? Because we have a lot of stuff we want to give you. Which way do you want to go? For a lot of you, it's to do with your love life because of the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Wands, or it's to do with your own self-love. But, and for some of you, it could be like you want love in terms of like friendship, like you want soul family connections. For others of you, it could be romantic love. For others of you, you're like, I just want to love myself. I just want to have a better relationship with myself, which is completely valid. But it's like, which cup do you want first? Because we have so much we want to give you. Yeah, the Magician is your bottom of the deck. Like, what do you want to manifest first into your life in the month of June? Because it's like you're due for a lot of good stuff. So it's like, what blessing do you want to receive first? Which way do you want to lean with this? Where do you want to put your intention towards? What do you want to gravitate your energy towards? Because that is what will manifest in your life. So I would say going into June, especially in like the first week, be very intentional. Some of you may practice the law of attraction. Others of you might resonate more with just praying. Others of you might wish for stuff or daydream, like whatever it is that you like to do. Be really intentional in that first week with where you flow your energy towards, like what you put your intention towards, because that is what is going to come first in this like a line of cups. Usually I look at the Nine of Cups and I see that as like a single wish coming true. That's how I typically interpret. And I think that's pretty much the traditional interpretation of that card. But for some reason in your reading, it really is coming forward like, okay, spin the Wheel of Fortune. Like, which cup do you want first? All these cups are yours. These cups are yours for the taking. Which cup do you want first? Because we've got 8 blessings, 8 of Wands. We have 8 blessings to come forward. Which cup do you want first? Make a choice. That's so cool. I've never had that. I don't think I've ever had that card present itself in that way. Okay, let's continue onward. We have Don't Let Your Pride Get in Your Way, full moon in Leo. And we have Your Dreams Need a Practical Plan with the full moon in Taurus. So 2 full moons. So definitely something is reaching a point of completion in your life in the month of June. And for a lot of you, I feel like it was something that you were holding on to because of your pride. You were holding on to it because your ego just couldn't let it go. And that's not a judgment. I don't know. Don't take that as like a judgmental sort of message, because I definitely have been there myself, more than once for sure. But I think a lot of times we can commit to something because we think it's the safest, or we have invested so much time and so it's like the sunken cost fallacy, or we think this is what we should do or what we ought to do, and we think it's the most practical thing even though it's making us unhappy, and we try to do what we think is right, and that's usually influenced by the people closest to us or by society, and so it just makes it hard, right, to make choices for yourself. But definitely in the month of June, what you're allowing to fall away or what you are choosing to end is something that is going to prepare you for so many blessings. So I think definitely the message here is like, just let it go then. And don't let your pride keep you tied to something just because you think that's what's practical. And you can still be practical about your dreams. Like the things that you want the most, you can still apply a practical mindset to it, even if other people say that goal is inherently impractical. For example, let's say you are a musician and you have a dream that you want to get signed to a label and you want to release your debut album. I don't know a lot about music. I'm just throwing stuff out there, okay? Let's say that's your dream. And other people are like, that's really impractical. Even when you get signed to a label, there's no guarantee of success. Okay, well, what in life is guaranteed to be successful ultimately? Like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, who can say? And so you're like, well, I know everyone is telling me that it's really impractical to pursue a job where I won't have security, but I'm going to be practical about this, and I'm going to take the steps that I need to take to achieve this goal regardless. And so you sit down and you make a plan and you say, like, what do I feasibly need to do to get signed to a label? What steps do I need to take? And how can I support myself in the meantime? And then you make it happen. And so you're still being practical while following your dream, even if other people think that dream is inherently impractical. And it really is reminding me of that Katy Perry song of like, everyone says it's impossible until it's done. Everyone says it's improbable until it's done. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. So these two cards are going to illustrate how your energy is in the month of June. They do say she, just ignore the gender. We have she who forgives, remorse, guilt, and forgiveness. That's a really pretty card. And we have she who divines, future, choice, and judgment. Do some of you pull tarot cards for yourself? Do we have some psychics in this group? I love this. I love this a lot. I really feel like this forgiveness is actually being extended to yourself. I really feel like a lot of you are forgiving yourself if you have ever felt like you had certain regrets or you wish that you had handled certain situations differently, and you're like coming to this point of realization, like, I did the best that I could, and I was working with what I knew at the time, you know, and hindsight is always going to be 20/20. It's so easy to judge ourselves when we're looking back at our past selves, but guess what? 10 years from now, we'll probably be doing the same exact thing to our present self. Like, hindsight is always going to be 20/20. And so I feel like you're making peace with that, making peace with, you know, whatever you had to do to get to where you are today, and saying, you know what, did the best that I could, and moving forward, I will continue to just do the best that I can, because that's all I ever can do. And I think that's a really good perspective to have, not only in the month of June, but for the rest of your life, quite frankly. And also, I feel like especially, you see how she's holding these cards here? And even here, I'm seeing the Seven of Cups and the Death card. So that's actually really cool, like if you guys can see that. And you guys got the Death card and the Seven of Cups, so that's really neat. There is an ending. And it's like, from that ending, what do I choose with the Seven of Cups? Where do I go? And feeling like, it's like, yes, that Wheel of Fortune is there. Yes, that potential for divine intervention is there. But there's more than one fated outcome, because we're talking about multiple areas of your life, not just one aspect with that Eight of Wands. And so like, literally, like if you were in front of this Wheel of Fortune and Spirit said, okay, step up here, spin the wheel, but you get to decide where that wheel stops, and you get to decide which fated outcome happens first by choosing which cup you want. So which area of your life do you want to change first? It's like, I hold the cards. You are holding the cards. Like, how often in life do we feel like we are holding the cards? Like we are the master of our own fate. How often does that happen? Not frequently. So in the month of June, and I know that probably sounds really dramatic, but I think you have such a potential to have a wish come true, to have a manifestation manifest, to have a prayer answered. Like, you are primed for that. So where do you want that intention, that energy to flow towards? And be really conscientious about that, because if you're focused on really negative stuff, that can come to pass as well. So mindset is everything. Like, you are holding these cards. And I think what it is and why this is happening, and this is just my suspicion, honestly, like just from looking at your cards here, I think this is happening for you because you have finally stopped allowing your pride to affect you to the point to where you are stuck with that thing that needs to end. So when that Death card moment happens, and you know, maybe it is like your pride in and of itself, like your attitude towards it needs to change, or whether it's something physical, something tangible in your life that needs to end. But it's like, because you are releasing that thing, ending that thing is going, sort of like it was leeching off of your energy. Now that that thing has ended, space has been cleared. Energy has been returned to its source, returned to you. So now where do I want to focus that energy towards? And because I have carved this space now in my life, I'm primed for something new to come in. I've carved space with that Death card moment. So what am I choosing now to call in with this energy that has been returned to me? That I hope that makes sense. But it's like, because of that ending, it necessitates a new beginning. I hope I'm making this clear. Okay. These two cards are representing the overall themes in your life in the month of June. We have glamour. Into this mirror, I now see the realms of possibility. Oh, and we have authenticity. Who I truly am is good indeed. I am authentic in thought, word, and deed. How interesting. It's like you have two conflicting cards here, because glamour is kind of just the opposite of this authenticity, right? Like, glamour is something that, it's almost like a smoke screen, like smoke and mirrors. It's an illusion. And then this authenticity, it's so raw, it's so real. Ooh, I like that. You know what this is making me think? Believing is seeing. Believing is seeing. Like, you looking into this mirror here, what do you see when you look into the mirror? Because that is what is being reflected back to you. It's not the mirror that determines what you see, but your perspective. So, the most beautiful woman in the world, and I referenced Vanderpump Rules in group 1, and I'm gonna mention that show again in group 2 because I've been glued to my iPad watching that show. I don't know why, I've always preferred to watch TV on my iPad, but anyway, so a character, not a character, she's a real person, Ariana on that show has talked about her body in like a really negative way. I think, not to label her, but I think she would agree she probably has some like body dysmorphia going on. She is a stunningly beautiful woman. She is so beautiful, but she doesn't see herself in that way. And so because she doesn't see herself in that way, that's not her reality. Even though everyone else sees her in that way, like she's, you know, meets like the societal like beauty standards, right? Even though we see her in that way, that's not her reality because she doesn't see that when she looks in the mirror. And so what you see about yourself, what you see about your life in the mirror, okay, I'm like using this as a metaphor here, but like what you see is what is being projected back to you. And so what do you want to see? Do you want to see yourself as a lovable person and therefore welcome in a loving, healthy, romantic partnership? Do you want to look in the mirror and see a successful person and then welcome in the energy of like financial abundance? You know, like what do you want to see reflected back in your own life? That might be also a key to this like secret sauce here of like how this manifestation or prayer or wish is going to come true. Like, what do you see? Because what you see in your mind's eye will be reflected back to you in your external reality. You have a very like, I don't know, your reading's really cool. I told group 1 that I thought they would have the best reading, but I don't know, like your reading's pretty wild in group 2. I like it. I was not expecting this, but it's a really cool reading for sure. And I think also, I think this is also talking about self-love and how that love for yourself becomes reflected in your physical appearance. So some of you could be having like a physical glow up, but it's starting from within. Because we really do, like we move differently. We carry ourselves differently when we are being our authentic self and when we feel truly confident and comfortable in our own skin, right? Also, I think there's a dog barking somewhere. I'm sorry. Okay. So now we're gonna look at some self-love cards, and then we'll get a Cat Guardians card, and then we will get your love messages, okay? And this card says love as well, so yeah, your love life could be a big factor in the month of June. We have love people, love them with all your heart, just be sure to love yourself first. So yeah, for some of you, this is really starting off with self-love. And that gets the ball rolling. We have reassess. You have the right to change your mind. Oh my gosh. Yes. Screenshot this, write it down. You have the right to change your mind. Don't let your pride, that full moon in Leo, that Leo is like fixed fire, so it's stubborn. And I say that as a Leo sun sign, like we're like that, okay? Don't let your pride keep you rooted where you are not growing. Move yourself, okay? Like, you have the right to change your mind. And I don't know, like, why we make people feel bad for that. Why we have this, I don't know where you're living, but in America, there's a real culture around don't be a quitter, don't be a quitter, don't be a quitter. But it's like that Taylor Swift song, man. Sometimes, what's it like? Sometimes it's the best thing is to leave, to go. Like, it's the right time to go. Like, sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to walk away. And that doesn't make you a quitter. That means that you're brave enough to start something new, to try something new. That you are mature enough to say, like, this isn't working and I've got to change course. And that doesn't make you a quitter. It just means that you're not keeping yourself tied to something that isn't working out for whatever reason. And again, maybe it's a tangible thing, maybe it's a mindset, but you're like, I have a right to change my mind. I have a right to change my perspective. I have a right to change what I want. We give people crap about that too. Like, we're like, oh, I thought you said you never wanted to get married. I thought you said you never wanted to have kids. People have a right to change their mind. I thought you said you wanted to get married. Well, now I don't. You know, like, I thought you said you wanted to be a doctor. Well, now I want to work in IT. So there it is. Like, we don't have to stay static. So if anyone's giving you crap about that, I don't know. If personally, if I were you, group 2, in the month of June, I wouldn't sweat it. Because if anyone wants to cast judgment towards you about that, best believe they will be in a situation at some point in their life, at least once, where they have to do the same thing. Or they have to say, you know what, this isn't working. Or where they change their mind on something that they thought they would never change their mind about. It happens. It happens. Okay. Let's look at your cat guardian message. Spiritual Sally. You are so aligned. Oh, I love that so much. I love that so much. Yeah. It's like Spirit is like handing you the reins in the month of June. Like, you are so in tune with Spirit to where they're like, you know what? We're gonna let you decide, again, like, what fated outcome comes first. Because there is like, you know, group 1 had a little bit of this too, but it does feel like maybe it's a collective energy in June, and it is like halfway through the year, so this does make sense of like, let's clean things up, let's assess. So like group 1 was like, let's tidy stuff up, let's get our affairs in order. With you, it's like, what do we need to reassess? And because we are ending this thing, where do we want to go from here? Let's chart our path forward and what needs to come first. So I definitely like this. I feel like there's a little bit of high priestess, like mystic energy coming forward with this. But yeah, I feel like it's, and we always say, right, like law of attraction, you're co-creating with Spirit. This is really that. This is you co-creating with Spirit. And even if you don't resonate with law of attraction and all of that jazz, I always just pray. That's my deal. But like, whatever you do, you are co-creating with Spirit, okay? Okay, group 2, I did the exact same thing in group 1 where I forgot these cards. They're so small, they kind of fall kind of deep into this little organizer that I have. So anyway, we have that feeling when a rainbow appears just when you need the light the most. And then look at this card. There's a rainbow. Like, oh my gosh, that's like the coolest thing ever. But anyway, it says that feeling when nothing is happening and everything is perfect and whole. This really is like its darkest before the dawn kind of energy, right? Like that death card energy that you had, that feeling of like, okay, this thing is ending, wrap it up with a bow, this thing has reached completion in my life. Here was the storm, it's done. When the clouds clear, here's the rainbow. Here is that point of like acceptance, of relief, of bliss, of like, this is the thing that I needed the most right here, right now. And so as we've been saying repeatedly throughout your reading, it's this point of reckoning where you get to choose that cup. That space has been cleared, it's been carved out. You put your pride aside and you created that space. You went through that ending. So what new beginning is going to start in your life? Where do you want to put that intention towards? For a lot of you, it does seem like your love life. You know, but it may be different for a lot of you. It does make me think of the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups always has a rainbow on it as well, remember? For those of you familiar with tarot. So, I mean, yeah. Like, here comes the sun. Like, you had the sun card. Like, the sun's coming up again. Like, what is going to make you smile the most? What will make you happiest? Because that's the first thing that's gonna come. That's the rainbow. And I mean, and you deserve it. I think you're due for it. I think you're probably overdue for some good stuff, okay? All right, group 2. You're gonna see a jump cut. I'm sorry. Let's see if I make this same mistake in group 3. All right. Let's go ahead and get your love messages now. I'm gonna shuffle this deck a few times just to get your energy into it. I think I will probably put a blanket on this table. I don't have my old filming blanket. I left it at the house when I moved. But I have another one I can use. I don't know, I just don't like how loud it is. Oh my gosh, your first card is self-love. I love that that's coming out first because, I mean, I believe we did say that was probably going to be the starting point for most of you. It says, accepting and loving yourself is key in either attracting or maintaining a healthy relationship. Focus on what makes you unique without comparing yourself to others. You are unconditionally loved by the universe. Group 2, your love life in June 2023. Group 2. Ooh. Okay, we got 2 cards and I wanted to get 3, so that's perfect. We have divine counterpart. This person is your divine counterpart. You are connected with each other on an astral level. This connection helps to raise the vibration on earth. You will create positive things together. And then I love that it says you're connected on the astral level and then you got psychic connection. How cool is that? It says there is a strong psychic connection between you and this person. He or she thinks exactly the same as you. Your intuition is telling you the right thing about this situation and this person. Love that. So for a lot of you, yeah. I mean, I was feeling most strongly that the King of Cups or the Emperor could be that love interest. So definitely, if you want to claim that message, go ahead and claim it in the comments. This is all beautiful. And I will say too, like your bottom of the deck here is chained and bound. So like we're leaving this behind. Like that's what's dead. We're done with this. And so whatever was holding you back in terms of your love life with the death card, we were talking about an ending. And I even said for some of you, it could be as literal as like you ending something. Whether it's a relationship, a situationship, giving up on a crush that wasn't reciprocating your energy, whatever, carving out that space. And even for some of you, letting go maybe of a self-limiting belief that you're unlovable, ending that, loving yourself enough to end that, carving out that space, and now we have this new love interest come in, this divine counterpart. Six of Cups, I mean, yeah, divine counterpart, soulmate. I mean, yeah. All right, I love this. I love this reading. Man, I didn't think it could get better than group 1, but here we are. All right, group 2, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you for being patient with me as I navigate filming in this new space, and as I get back as well into the routine of filming, because with the move, definitely took about a week off. I pre-filmed so it didn't affect you guys, but I hate doing that. Like, I hate getting out of the routine of filming, so definitely have to get back into the swing of things. But anyway, I'm wishing you guys the very best. I'm very excited for you, and I hope you're excited as well, and I will see you in my next one. Please take care, group 2. Welcome to your reading. So like I was telling the other groups, this is my first reading that I'm filming in my new apartment. So be patient with me if you can. I'm still figuring out the filming setup, and I can't speak too loudly. I don't want to be rude to my neighbors. So when I'm editing the video, I'll have to go in and raise the audio. I don't know if that's going to distort anything, but hopefully it's okay. We'll just have to see. And also, I don't know how echoey it is in here, and you may hear some noises from the street. So with that being said, let's get into your June prediction here. We have the King of Swords, we have the Four of Wands, we have the Sun, we have Temperance, the Three of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the Hermit. I really do like how there's repeating energies in all three groups today. I think group 1 had the Queen of Wands. I think group 2 had the Sun card. So I just like to see that with the collective here. This is also the prettiest Sun card I think ever. It's so freaking cute. The best thing about your month of June is this balance. You have such a beautiful, balanced energy in the month of June. I mean, you have like the Queen of Wands next to the Hermit. It's like with the Three of Cups and Temperance, I mean, you are balancing out your personal time with your social time. Like if you've been like full on in hermit mode, or if you've been the opposite and you've been full on, you know, giving so much of your time to your friends and your family and feeling really depleted, doesn't matter which side of the spectrum you fall on. In the month of June, group 3, you are striking a balance. You are striking a balance between attending to your own needs, self-care, your own spiritual work, like whatever time you need to feel like you're connected to your own energy, to enjoy your own energy, to enjoy your own company. You're doing that, but it's also being balanced out with you having enough time to socialize and to feel connected to the outside world and to feel like you're a part of things, like you have a community, you have a support group. And so for some of you, like if you've been really isolated, that's a major change. So, you know, it definitely depends, you know, like which side you fall on here, but regardless, you're coming to this space of equilibrium. You're coming to this space of striking a balance between having time for the people that you love and having time for yourself. And I also will say you're having this beautiful balance as well between having fun and enjoying yourself and giving yourself the permission to have fun and to relax and to have a good time and to celebrate things. But you're also balancing that out with taking care of your mental health and taking care of just like your usual like self-care stuff and having time for your spiritual growth and having time to practically get done or make certain decisions that you need to make. And so I feel like you're a lot happier for it. Like June just feels like a happier month for you because you don't feel out of sorts, you don't feel overextended, you don't feel depleted, and you have this beautiful space to where you can feel like you're flowing with life rather than life working against you. Like you're not swimming upstream anymore. And I think it's because it's like I have the same hours in the day, that hasn't changed, but now I've learned how to manage my time better. I've learned how to disperse my energy better, like what am I giving my energy to and how much of it am I giving my energy to, and what or how am I pulling back and saving some of that energy for myself. So like you're more energy efficient in the month of June. For sure. Like, yeah, it's like circumstances haven't changed in terms of like, you know, again, like we all have 24 hours in a day and that's it, right? Like that hasn't changed, but how I manage my time has, and how I take care of myself and like what I prioritize. So I feel like you feel more stable, you feel more grounded, you feel, again, just more balanced. And it may still be like a busy month for you, but you yourself feel peaceful. And that makes a huge difference. Okay, let's get further into your messages here. We have a new romantic cycle begins. Ooh. And we have the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. And this was new moon in Libra. This King of Swords could be a love interest, could also be the Queen of Wands or the Hermit card. For most of you though, I feel like your energy is the Hermit and the Queen of Wands. Your gender doesn't matter because this is you balancing out that social aspect versus that, you know, more reserved, focused on myself kind of energy. And you finding a balance between your inner world and your outer world. And I feel like this King of Swords could very well be a new love interest coming in for you because, I mean, especially new moon in Libra, this is an air sign, so it could be for some of you, not for all of you, but maybe this new romantic partner could be this King of Swords, this masculine energy, Libra energy. King of Swords is air, so Libra is an air sign. Could be. Let's actually get some more. I'm going to pull more tarot for you all. I didn't do this for every group, but since we do have some love messages coming in for you, let's just see. So So we'll pull, whoops. For those of you who, now, this doesn't just have to be for singles. I should have clarified that. If you're already in a relationship, this could be talking about, with the King of Swords standing out to me. It could talk about a new cycle starting where you and your partner communicate a lot better, where communication really improves and you make more time for, so either like you resolve conflict more easily, you're able to talk things out, or you're able to have more intimate, deep conversations because you're making time for that, more heart-to-heart conversations, or you're feeling really flirty with each other and you're having a lot of like verbal banter, being more loving towards each other, more affectionate, like words of affirmation. So that could be happening for those of you already in a relationship. For those of you who are single, let's get more information on this new romantic cycle. Oh, and I do want to turn this card over because that's going to bother me. Okay. Ooh. We have the Eight of Cups and the King of Pentacles. So some of you could be ending a relationship with a King of Pentacles type of person, or for some of you, maybe you ended a relationship with the King of Swords and you will be welcoming in a King of Pentacles. So now we have Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, apply that how it resonates. Otherwise though, you are really saying, I feel like for a lot of you, you want someone who's going to back up what they say with their actual actions. You want someone who's going to keep their promise and not just tell you what you want to hear in the moment just to screw you over later. You want someone that you can rely upon. You want someone who's dependable, not someone who's just a sweet talker. And so you're welcoming in a person into your life who is like that, someone that you can actually count on, and not someone who presents themselves in a certain way. You know how some people are really sneaky with the way they word things, and so they present a false, or they present themselves, I guess just in a really inauthentic way to kind of trick you and make you think that they're more successful than they are, just make themselves appear in a way that they're actually not. Yeah. I definitely had an ex who was like that, where they would say things and they would be very unnecessary lies. Like they would just volunteer this information to make themselves seem really compassionate. So they would lie about just really odd things so that I would form an opinion of them where I thought they were really giving and really compassionate and really open-hearted, and then I would find out later it was a complete lie, something they completely fabricated. So they would just make up these these stories that weren't true. And so it's reminding me of that energy. Like, you don't want someone who's going to be inauthentic or just trying to present themselves in a way that they think will appeal to you. You want someone who is honest, not only with you and their actions, but also honest about who they are as a person, what their values are, and what their character is. Okay? I love that. I love that. I think that's a good standard to have. Anything more? Oh yeah, definitely. If you're having this new love interest come in, you could meet them through work, but they're definitely going to be someone who's financially stable, someone who is successful, someone who is good at what they do, someone who is well respected. For some of you, and this is a much more specific message, but for some of you, it could be someone who has like a social media following, because with the Three of Pentacles, they could have like a customer base or a fan base, or just a lot of people follow them or recognize their work, or are patrons of their work, like a Patreon, you know? With the Three of Pentacles here, that's a more specific message, like I said. They could also just be like a business owner. Okay, I'm gonna get 3 cards about your love life in June, because we did have that new romantic cycle card. So actually, let's do it this way. Let's get 1 card for my couples and 1 card for my singles. Let's do that. So couples, June 2023, group 3. We have flexible here. Oh, I like that. Flexible. I like that a lot. So for some of you, this is referring to this idea that if you're unhappy in your partnership, with that 8 of Cups, you are being encouraged to leave. And once you do, especially if you feel like you're with this King of Swords right now, then you will welcome in this King of Pentacles, who's going to be much more well suited to you. If you're happy with your current partnership, this could be you're being more flexible in the way that you communicate, and your partner is compromising as well, and you guys are really improving your communication, as we were discussing before. So the way that you two speak to each other completely changes, and a willingness here to see the other person's perspective. Okay, group 3 singles, their love life in June 2023. Oh, I like that. We have 2 cards come out. We have boundaries and we have take it slow. And you know what? Especially if you are resonating with that King of Pentacles energy, I really feel like this could be like a friends to lovers situation, but this is going to be someone who definitely respects your boundaries, someone who is willing to match the pace that you set, someone who wants you to feel comfortable, someone who wants to get to know you. 4 of Wands, build that solid foundation. Probably friends to lovers. If I said that already, I apologize. And everything will unfold organically between you two. It will definitely be a romantic relationship that evolves over time, something where you two grow together, and it feels really solid. And it feels like something that you can hold on to, something you can depend upon. It's a person who's going to be consistently there for you, your rock, rooting for you, someone who's going to be, I'm hearing, in your corner, someone who's really going to support you, and someone who's going to be your biggest fan, someone who's going to be your cheerleader. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Man, your reading might be longer than the others. Okay, so these 2 cards are representing your energy in the month of June. They do say she on them, so just ignore the gender. We have she who hopes, love, oh my gosh, love, hope, and relationships. And even look here, it's like the princess and the frog. And if you think about a frog evolving from like a tadpole, like that metamorphosis. So yeah, like this really could be like friends to lovers here, like it growing from a friendship to a romantic partnership. You just have love coming up so much. Group 1 had no love messages. We have she who listens, understanding, witness, and compassion. I like this a lot because I feel like both of you are going to hold space for each other And this is whether this is a new person, if you're single, or whether it's your current partner, doesn't matter. You're gonna hold space for each other, gonna be compassionate towards each other, a willingness to see the other person's perspective, as we discussed before, holding space. I'm gonna bear witness. And that's one of the best things you can give to another person, is to see them and to allow yourself to be seen by someone else as well, but to share with each other your real, authentic, vulnerable self, and have the other person hold space and not judge you for it and not try to fix you, just to be there for each other and supportive of each person's growth is really, really beautiful. So it's definitely a connection where you're growing together versus growing apart. Okay, and I don't want to forget these cards. I keep forgetting them. Okay, let's look at these first. We have that feeling when you rescue a friend. This card always makes me think of Sailor Pluto because of the like staff thing. It says that feeling when the answer strikes the second you stop thinking about it. And we have that feeling when you're guarding a powerful secret. Okay, lots of messages coming through. Again, friends to lovers, I'm telling you, if you're single, friends to lovers. But also, you know how they say you meet the love of your life when you stop looking? That's the moment you meet someone, when you stop thinking about it. That's what this card is reminding me. Like, the second I stop thinking about it, that's when the answer strikes. That's when I meet my person. And this guarding a powerful secret, two messages coming through with this. One, it's making me think that you could have a crush on this person, but they're your friend. And so that's the secret you're keeping, but you don't realize they're keeping that same secret because the feeling is mutual, because you guys are taking it slow. Or you may just not tell your friends and your family because you want to keep it on the down low, like you want to keep it to yourself because it's new. And for others of you, this is also making me think of that idea of like holding space, because part of friendship or part of a romantic partnership is keeping the other person's secrets, being loyal. If someone opens up to you and tells you their deepest, darkest secrets, or, you know, is really emotionally vulnerable and raw with you and shares their story, don't you owe it to them to hold that space and to hold that secret and to not run and tell everybody, to have that respect for them. So I think you'll be giving that to each other. Like, you're a safe space for me, and I'm a safe space for you to open up and to trust that you're not going to run and tell everybody. And I'm starting to lose my voice, and I apologize. I feel like there's a feeling of like we saved each other. Like we're a safe harbor for each other. And I just love that. And it's not like they're literally saving you from something, but it's just like, you're saving me from every other person who would have been wrong for me. Because there's, like, this is it. Like, this is the kind of love that I have been waiting for. I love that. Okay. So you're supposed to just get 2 cards. And y'all got 5. So these were supposed to represent major themes in your life. The fact that you got so many makes me think it's a pretty pivotal month for you. And in your tarot, you got a lot of major arcana cards, like a good amount. So we have victory, we have confidence, we have true love come to me, who's surprised? I'm not. We have destiny, and we have passion. So, I mean, what beautiful energy. So, sorry, that noise outside is really annoying. There's something fated happening, right, with destiny. Something fated happening in the month of June, or this is confirming that you are on the right path. True love come to me in passion speaks for itself. We've been talking and talking and talking about it. Confidence. I really feel like you're going to be feeling more confident because you feel more balanced. I mean, we were talking about that in the very beginning, feeling more balanced. And then with victory, like you're feeling successful. You feel like you've won something. And it could be this like romantic partner. You're like, man, like I won a prize here. Like I found a good one. I found the needle in the haystack. Like I found a good one. And also, I mean, with this victory card, it's showing a cup. And of course, in tarot, we associate cups with love. So this could be like your success in love, your victory in love, especially with passion and true love come to me. We've been talking about love a lot in your reading. And like I said, you know, group 1 was not like that. Group 2 had some love messages as well, but you're the group today with the love messages, like for sure, for sure. And you know how they say like love makes artists of us all, as does heartbreak? I think when you're in love, like you do have a more romanticized view of life. And I feel like if you are a creator of any kind, or if you consider yourself a creative person, the month of June could be quite inspiring to you, because whether you're having a fresh start in your current partnership and you feel like your current partnership is being revitalized, or if it's you're single and you're newly in love with someone, or you have a crush on someone and it starts off as friends like we were discussing, you're still in this romantic mood, like regardless of what the circumstance is. And so I feel like, you know, if you're a writer or a musician, or you create anything, you know, you're creative in any sort of way, like your creativity is going to be in full force in the month of June. You're going to be feeling so inspired. And even I'm hearing, and this is a more specific message, but for some of you, you're going to be playing around with your style more, and that's going to be an outlet for your creativity. And part of that is you're feeling inspired by the love that's in your life now. Again, whether you're single, meeting someone new, or whether you're in your current partnership, but you're feeling more confident. You know, like this other person's giving you compliments and stuff, like you're feeling good about yourself. And so it's like I can explore more with my style. I can, you know, mix things up because I feel confident enough to do so. I'm not just putting on a sweatshirt every day, you know? Again, a more specific, smaller message, but it did come through, so I wanted to share that. Okay, so now we're going to look at your self-care wisdom cards, and then we will end your reading with a cat guardian card. So we have passion twice now. Okay. We have light up your life by honoring your deepest desires. I feel like Spirit also wants to say, like, especially if you're single or you are just coming out of an unhappy partnership, be brave enough to welcome back in the energy of love again. Like, love is knocking here. True love is knocking on your door. Be brave enough to be open to that blessing again. Okay? Also, again, like, creativity, really, like, full force. If you've like ever wanted to write a book, or if you've ever wanted to learn how to play an instrument or do anything creative, like anything you've ever wanted to try that you haven't tried, I recommend giving it a go in the month of June, because creatively, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like that part of you is very activated. And if you're in a partnership, physical intimacy could also be improving, because if you think about it, physical intimacy is a form of creative expression as well. All of it relates to fire sign energy, the wands suit in tarot as well. So yeah, I mean, go for it. You know, like anything you've been wanting to try it. And yeah, physical intimacy. I'm jumping all over the place with the messages here. I'm sorry, I'm like jumping back and forth between talking about. Anyway, okay. Creative expression. Anything you wanted to try as like a new hobby, whatever, go for it. Or a creative side hustle, go for it. For those of you in a partnership, physical intimacy could also be improving. More passion in your relationship. Okay. Was jumping back and forth. Okay, now we have risk. Take a chance. Every risk is a success when you're committed to learning and growth. I mean, take a chance on love again, I think, for sure, because we've been talking about love constantly. But also take a chance, like if you have wanted to do something creatively, but you've been too scared to try. I think this is like your green light, go for that. We have truth. Truth is different at different levels of consciousness, reserve, judgment. I think you're already doing that, quite honestly, in the month of June. Like, I feel like Spirit is saying, again, that idea of like holding space for each other, reserving judgment, taking your time to really get to know each other. And even if you're in a current partnership right now, being more willing again to see that other person's perspective and their version of the truth, and meeting in the middle and compromising. And we have sovereign. You are the queen or king of your life. Treat yourself like royalty. So yeah, I mean, still making time for your mental health, still making time for your self-care, like we said in the very beginning with your tarot. Okay, let's see. I did get those feeling cards. Yes, okay. I forgot them for the other groups. Now we're going to look at your Cat Guardians card, and this will end your reading, which is really great because I'm losing my voice. So let's see. Oh my gosh. We have Creative Charlie. Okay. So I've said creativity, creative expression like a million times in this reading. And now we have Creative Charlie. And you know, I feel like new love in and of itself, or love in general, is also creative expression. Like the way that we love each other, the way that we express our love. Everyone expresses their love differently, right? Like we have all of these different love languages. Like it's very romantic, even the way that we discuss how we express our love and all of the different ways that we can do that. And so I think that will be a way for you to channel your creative expression, is into loving this other person, getting to know this other person. And again, even if it's your current partner, like let's take this to another level of intimacy. Let's revitalize our connection. Let's feel like we're in that honeymoon phase again, even though we've been together, I don't know, 5 years. And so I think regardless of your current romantic, or I guess I should say relationship status, that creative energy is just an overarching theme for your month of June. Whether you're channeling it into an existing partnership or a new partnership, or a love interest that you hope will develop into a romantic partnership, that creative expression is going to feel so invigorating, I'm hearing. And you're going to feel, I'm hearing you're going to feel brand new. Oh, that's cute. You're going to feel very confident. I don't know, like I keep smiling now. You know, it's like this giddy feeling. It's funny because like your reading started off so grounded. I like that. Because for some of you, like if you're single, like you have a real potential to fall in love or to meet the person you're gonna fall in love with in June. But it's like, instead of that feeling like a scary, destabilizing, butterflies in my stomach kind of feeling, it feels more like sinking. Oh wow, how does it, like sinking into warm water. That's how they're describing it to me. Like, just, you still feel held, you feel safe, you feel protected in this because you feel so right about it. It's not gonna feel like, oh, I'm head over heels, I'm losing myself, oh, this is so passionate, I feel disconnected from myself, I feel like I'm losing my head in love. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like someone calling you home. It feels like a warm embrace. It feels like, oh wow, like why do I feel like I'm gonna cry? You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing Regina Spektor's song where she says, "You are my sweetest downfall, I loved you first." Like, to fall in love with you is like the sweetest unraveling I could imagine. Like, if this is what it means to fall, I'll fall for you every day. I didn't know that this experience could feel so safe, so warm. Maybe in the past, things have burned quickly for you and burned out just as fast. This feels passionate, but it feels safe. And it's like, I think in the past you thought you had to choose, but now you see you're meant to have both. You're meant to have that balance. It's not meant to be one or the other. You can have it all. And now we're tying it back into your tarot with Temperance. You don't have to choose. You can have both. You can have excitement and passion and like this electric kind of physical intimacy, but you can also have that emotional depth and that sense of safety and security and reliability and authenticity that you need from a partner. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And if you're in a partnership, it doesn't have to be your way or their way. You can meet in the middle. Okay, group 3. Sorry I struggled at the end to pull out that message, but maybe I'll try to edit out some of my pauses so it doesn't take so long for you guys. But I mean, what a beautiful reading, group 3. I'm curious to see how popular, like how many people choose this group, because it's a, I don't know. I thought group 1 was gonna be the best. And now I'm like, group 2 was really, really cool. But I mean, if you've been unhappy in your love life, group 3 is like the winner. Okay. Anyway, I'm wishing you guys the very, very best. And yeah, I mean, you got a good group, group 3. All right, please take care, and I will see you in my next one.